The People of the State of New York v. Strauss-Kahn was a criminal case relating to allegations of sexual assault and attempted rape made by a hotel maid, Nafissatou Diallo, against Dominique Strauss-Kahn at the Sofitel New York Hotel on May 14, 2011. The charges were dismissed at the request of the prosecution, which pointed out serious doubts in Diallo's credibility and inconclusive physical evidence. In a television interview in September, Strauss-Kahn admitted that his liaison with Diallo was a moral fault and described it as inappropriate, but that it did not involve violence, constraint or aggression. He said that Diallo had lied, and that he had no intention of negotiating with her over a civil suit she had filed against him. The suit was later settled for an undisclosed amount, subsequently reported to have been $1.5 million. On May 19, 2011, Strauss-Kahn was indicted by a grand jury, and after posting $1 million bail and pleading not guilty, he was placed under house arrest. On July 1, prosecutors told the judge that they had reassessed the strength of their case in the light of the housekeeper's diminished credibility, and the case against him was near collapse. On 23 August 2011, the judge formally dismissed all charges following a recommendation for dismissal filed by the district attorney's office, which asserted that the complainant's untruthfulness made it impossible to credit her. At the time of the alleged attack, Strauss-Kahn was the head of the International Monetary Fund and considered to be a leading candidate for the 2012 French presidency. 4 days after his arrest, he voluntarily resigned his post at the IMF. There was widespread speculation in France after his arrest that he was the victim of a conspiracy. On May 14, 2011, Strauss-Kahn was arrested and charged with the sexual assault and attempted rape of 32-year-old Nafissatou Diallo, a housekeeper at the Sofitel New York Hotel in the Manhattan borough earlier that day. After calling the hotel and asking them to bring his missing cell phone to the airport, he was met by police and taken from his Paris-bound flight at New York City's John F. Kennedy International Airport minutes before takeoff, and was later charged on several counts of sexual assault plus unlawful imprisonment. Strauss-Kahn was accused of 4 felony charges, 2 of criminal sexual acts, 1 of attempted rape and 1 of sexual abuse, plus 3 misdemeanor offenses, including unlawful imprisonment. The U.S. State Department determined that Strauss-Kahn's diplomatic immunity did not apply to the case. Strauss-Kahn hired New York lawyer Benjamin Brafman to represent him. He was reported as having sought public relations advice from a Washington-based consulting firm. His defense team hired a private detective agency to investigate the housekeeper's past. Nafissatou Diallo was represented by Kenneth Thompson and Douglas Wigder of Thompson Wigder LLP, a 2-partner law firm whose areas of expertise include employment law and civil rights cases. Thompson hired a Paris lawyer to look for women in France who may have been victimized by Strauss-Kahn. Strauss-Kahn appeared in court on May 16 before New York City Criminal Court Judge Melissa Jackson. During the proceedings, the prosecution stated that the housekeeper, Diallo, an immigrant asylum from the West African state of Guinea, had provided a detailed account of the alleged assault, had picked Strauss-Kahn out of her lineup, and that DNA evidence recovered at the site was being tested. Strauss-Kahn, who had earlier agreed to a forensic examination, pleaded not guilty. Judge Jackson denied his bail request, stating that the fact that Strauss-Kahn was apprehended on a departing airplane raised some concerns. On May 19, Strauss-Kahn was indicted by a Manhattan grand jury on 7 criminal counts, 2 of which were first-degree criminal sexual acts, each punishable by a sentence of up to 25 years in prison. On that date, New York Supreme Court Justice Michael J. Obas granted Strauss-Kahn arrest bail request, which was set at $1 million with the additional restrictions of 24-hour home detention and an electronic monitoring ankle bracelet. After Strauss-Kahn turned over his passport and posted an additional $5 million bail bond, he was placed under house arrest in a residence in Lower Manhattan.